Can you tell me your name?
Chad Osted.
And what do you teach?
I teach math.
What do the Minnesota Timberwolves mean to you?
Well, I've been a fan since they actually started. I don't even know what year their inaugural season was, but I've been a big fan. I just love Minnesota sports, so when they started here, I was excited because I've always liked basketball. So they mean a lot to me.
What is your earliest Timberwolves memory?
I remember actually their first year, they had Sidney Lowe was a basketball player who has coached them, thus Troy Campbell, and we lost a lot that year, the first year, but it was still just super fun to have an NBA team in Minnesota.
Who was your favorite player of the very early teams?
Kevin Garnett, I don't know if that is considered early teams. Troy Campbell's the one who stands in my mind because he wasn't really an all-star, but he was an all-star that year because we didn't have a lot of great players, so they just went to him a lot. But Kevin Garnett is definitely one of my favorite Timberwolves of all time.
How much did you follow the team?
A lot. I've always watched them a ton. I haven't been able to the last couple of years because of Bally's Sports and all that. I don't have that anymore. So I watch them whenever I can, and it's always exciting to watch them, though.
How did you feel during that 2004 season where the Timberwolves made it to the Western Conference Finals?
That was a lot of fun with Sam Cassell and Latrell Sprewell and Garnett, and there's just a lot of excitement in Minnesota, just like there is right now with the team. Anytime you go to the conference finals, it kind of brings a buzz to the city and the state, and that just makes it a lot of fun for me.
Why do you think the team has struggled so much since then?
We're a small market. It's tough to compete against the bigger markets. The LAs and the Bostons and teams like that. So it is exciting when we do have an up and coming young team like we do right now. But I think just having a small market, it makes it tough.
What were your expectations coming into this year?
I was a little more excited just because of the year they had last year. They were at least very competitive, and they made the playoffs for the first time in a long time. So, I didn't have this high expectations. I did not expect them to be this good, so it's been really fun. I thought we would probably be a 4, 5, 6 seed, and so being tied for first most of the year, or in first a good chunk of the year, it was really exciting, but definitely exceeded my expectations.
Why do you think this team has done so well this year?
I just think they play so good as a team, and their team defense is amazing. That's really fun to watch, especially in the NBA, because, let's be honest, a lot of times in the NBA, they don't play that much defense. It's all scoring, scoring, scoring. So just that the team bought into, let's be a great defensive team and we can go far, that was really amazing to see.
What do you think this playoff run means to the legacy of the team?
I think it's just the start, personally. We have a young team. Anthony Edwards is only 22. You have these guys that are buying in, like I said, to the defense, and I think we can go really far that way, and I think we're going to be competitive for many, many years, so that's exciting.
Who's your favorite player on the team currently?
Definitely Anthony Edwards for me. He's just so exciting with his dunks, and what I actually really love is that he's not just about scoring. He's a two-way player, and you don't get that a lot of times from elite players. Usually elite players are considered just really good scorers and passers, but he actually is, a great scorer and a great passer, but he's also on the top defensive team in the NBA.
Who do you think has been the most underappreciated member of the Timberwolves this year?
Probably either McDaniels or Naz Reid, I think. Naz Reid, probably because he could start on a lot of teams, and I think he will start for the T-Wolves next year. He was the sixth man of the year in the NBA, So that was exciting. So probably Naz Reid, but I think both those guys will slowly get their due more and more as the years come because they're really good players.
How do you think you would start for the Timberwolves next year?
Say it again.
How do you think you would start for the Timberwolves next year?
How do?
Like, you think he would play over Karl Anthony Towns
Oh,
or Bear?
yeah. I think Naz Reid actually will jump into the starting lineup just because there's a good chance we won't have Big Cat next year, just with his contract being so high. And in my opinion, definitely going to keep Anthony Edwards down the line. That's going to be a big contract. Excuse me. So I think Naz Reid will step in great, and he's shown that when he is in the lineup, we don't really lose much. So, and we actually gain on defense, and he does a lot on the offense as well. It's nice to have that big, long body that can move laterally.
What do you think Karl Anthony Towns has brought to the Timberwolves in his tenure here so far?
He's been a great player for us. I don't think he bought in as much last year that it wasn't his team. I think that was hard for him, and I get that. I think part of the reason we've been so good this year is he's bought into that it's Ant's team. I got to play defense. And if I do that, I think as a whole, we're going to be a better team, and I'm going to have more fun. Like, I think that's what Big Cat kind of thought. So I have actually enjoyed seeing that he's followed along in that, hey, we have something special here, but we got to make it happen.
Are you upset that he might be leaving this season, or do you think it's the right time?
I always get a little upset because you want what you have to keep going, but it's the NBA. There are going to be changes. And honestly, out of all the players, he's one that I really, like I said earlier, I think he's going to go just because of his contract. I'm not going to be extremely sad. It'll be weird seeing him on a different team. But I really love our other guys and just how they know their role. It'll be interesting to see who we get to kind of step in, though, for Big Cat or to be a sixth person if Naz Reid comes in the starting lineup and so on.
Do you have any ideas for what you think we should try to add this offseason, either in the draft or through free agency?
I always think just a pure three-point shooter is so helpful on any team, and especially ours because we got so many guys that can slash. Probably going to lose Big Cat, so we're losing a really good three-point shooter there. So, if we could just get a really solid three-point shooter, I think they're going towards those long players that can move just to keep our defense solid. So if we could find a 6'7", 6'8", really good defensive player that's great at shooting threes, that's who I want.
Yeah. What are your expectations for the future of the team?
Well, we're going to be the first team to win 4 in a row, being down 3-0 to Dallas, and that starts tonight, so I'm excited about that. And then we're going to win our first NBA Finals tonight, or this year. But beyond this year, I just think, like I said earlier, we're going to be competitive, I think, because we just have a young nucleus. I like our coaches. I just like how they have them playing together. So I see a bright future for the T-Wolves.
Do you think Anthony Edwards will be the future face of the league?
I do. I really do. He's still young. It takes some years to be that, but he just has the charisma. He's a great two-way player. A lot of fans love him, not just in Minnesota. So I really see him as being the future of the face of the NBA down the road.
What will you remember most from this season?
I think just how more and more fans bought into the team, too, as they watched him more and more. I think a lot were kind of questioning, the good start this year. Like, wow, they can't keep it going. But they showed that they can and will continue to do that. So it's exciting.
What do you think it means to beat the defending champions?
That was super exciting. Win or lose this year, the NBA Finals, beating the reigning champs, who I felt were the favorites to win it again this year, is something they can definitely take with them moving forward and will really be something that I think will help them a lot in the long run in playoffs down the road.
How do you think the team will fare next year?
I think we'll be a top team in the West again, which is tough because the West is great. But I just think Edwards is going to keep getting better. I think our defense is going to keep getting better. I think guys are going to, know their roles more moving forward. It'll be interesting to see who we lose and who we add. But I see us as being a top team, a 1 or 2 seed next year in the Western.
And just one question: how many championships do you think the Timberwolves will have in the year 2030?
Ooh, I gotta do some math. So it's 24. I think we're gonna get one. I'm gonna say one. We're gonna get one within the next 3 years.
All right, sounds good. Anything else you'd like to say about the Timberwolves?
Ow!
Thank you.